Here we go.
There we go.
Every time. Every single time.
I guess we're live again.
There it
That's
is.
what
I'm
happens when I
back.
push the button.
I'm back for another Friday. I'm
You
pumped.
are, dude. Welcome back. Are we gonna lose you halfway through, or are you sticking
I don't know. How long is this?
until the questions stop coming in?
Okay. Well, we'll see. I blocked off 2 hours on my work calendar just to get stuff done, and I set it to do not disturb. So we'll see.
To get stuff done.
Sure, that'll get scheduled over any minute here.
Love to see it. Well, welcome back in, everybody, to another Friday. This is Friday with Addison because I wasn't sure if Justin's going to be here every week, but Justin's here. So it's Friday with Justin and Addison.
Here we go.
We had some football last night. We got some football tonight. We got some football tomorrow night. Football on Sunday. Oh my goodness.
It's back. And we're getting, 1 to 2 drives of like meaningful of what feels meaningful football. I'll take it. Like we got to see Zack Charbonnet last night.
Mm-hmm.
And that man his shoulder's fine. Like his shoulder is healthier than it's ever been.
Unlike one of his 3 touches last night, and he just drops the hammer on some poor backup defender.
Twice. Lewis Cine got destroyed twice. Zack Charbonnet is officially his father. It's fantastic. It's what we want to see.
The poor guy.
He's going to be so good. Zack Charbonnet is going to be incredible.
Yes, he is. Yep. John's in the chat. Welcome in, John. Nate is also in the chat. Dave says, "Hola, Russ is a jerk." I like it.
Valid.
Yep. Fantasy Condo's in here. Brandon's in here. Dave says it's Tank Dell season, and he's here for it. You here for some Tank Dell?
No, I'm not. I can't get on board with 100. Was he 160 pounds? He weighs less than I do. I'm sorry, that you can't be successful in the NFL if you weigh less than me.
165.
Yeah, he's 10 pounds less than me. That's not. I'm not a big person. You can't weigh less than me. No, I refuse. Sell him for a second, and I've seen it happen in leagues already where people have traded a 2024 second for Tank Dell.
Well, we know what we're talking about this week on our headlines video. Apparently, is Tank Dell. Dude's 5'8", 165 pounds, and ran a 4.49. That's an 81 speed score. Which
he's not big. He's not fast enough to, or he's not. I don't know how to say it. He's too slow for how big he is. It doesn't make any sense. He needs to be running like a 4.2. So honestly have a good speed score.
In my database back to 2001, that's the 20th worst speed score among all wide receivers.
It's not great, guys.
That is it. He can separate. I will give him that.
Yes,
dude is a really good route runner.
But also, they played the Vikings. Or who did they go up against? They went out with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. So it's probably the 3rd or 4th string secondary they were torching. I don't think he was going against cream of the crop there. So I would hope he can separate on whoever the hell he was facing. But still, he's 165 pounds, guys. That's literally all that matters. I'm not doing it.
BW is throwing out the other, I guess, winner from last night is Ty Chandler. He's caught 3 more passes since this stream has started. We're only 4 minutes in, and Ty Chandler's still catching passes.
He's looked good. He looked good. He looked good last preseason. I think he'll be. I don't think this ends up like a 60-40 split, but I'll be shocked if he's not the backup. I like Dwayne McBride as a between the tackles runner. I could see them splitting work. It should Madison go down, but Chandler should be the immediate handcuff. He should be rostered in Dynasty at this point if he's not.
Oh, he 100% should have been. I believe because I did for a member only video. So if you're a member, you got access to that.
Ooh,
maybe about a month ago.
Yeah,
I did my handcuff rankings, and at that time I had Ty Chandler as my number 1 handcuff from the Vikings backfield. I had him over Kenny Nwangu. I had him over Dwayne McBride. I feel like people forget that Ty Chandler is the highest drafted running back in that depth chart of the 3 backups behind Madison.
Is he really?
I'm pretty sure he is, because Dwayne McBride was a 7th round pick. Kenny Nwangu, I believe, was a 5th. I'm looking it up. Nwangu was a 4th.
Yeah.
And Ty Chandler was a 5th. Okay, so Nwangu was drafted a round earlier, but it was close enough.
I just went through all my show notes back to when I started here. Ty Chandler's not made it into my show notes once. I just did a whole search on the workbook. Ty Chandler's name the name Chandler has not been mentioned once since last July for me. So
why do I have Kenny Nwangu in round 4 taken 329th overall? That's not right.
That's incorrect.
that right there is incorrect. 119th overall. We're just gonna fix that right now.
There we go.
But yeah, I think Chandler 100% needs to be rostered in Dynasty. I think that he does win the backup job, and he, like you said, I don't think he really cuts into Madison's work, but I think he's Alexander Madison what Madison was to Dalvin Cook, essentially. I think that's the upside that we have there.
Yeah.
Oh, Anthony's got an interesting question. Can you talk a little bit about roster construction and strategy in an auction superflex startup, 10 team, start 11 out of 25 roster spots? How would you go about attacking that startup from a roster construction and strategy standpoint?
My favorite piece of auction strategy that someone gave me a while back is, and it feels almost counterintuitive, when you're up on the clock, to put a player on block, throw somebody up you don't care about, somebody you do not want to roster at all, because the idea is you're going to limit somebody else's cash flow in auction. So throw somebody you're not going to bid on whatsoever. Let other people bid, fight, lose out on money. And then on top of that, I try to hold off bidding for players early, because the more cash you have later, I mean, you find some crazy values, because most people go nuts spending early. And then you get to the middle rounds and you get a bunch of above average players for dirt cheap prices. So those are the 2 things that I always focus on in any kind of auction, especially a startup.
So I'm actually the opposite.
Interesting.
I am one of the early spenders, because from my auction experience, I've found that the players that go, maybe not the first 2 or 3 players, but generally the first 10 or so players that are usually the elite guys that get nominated first, at the end of the auction draft end up being values, because people like you are well, I'm just going to save, my money. Yeah, people like you are in these auctions with me, and they're saving money. And so then they end up getting values on the people that go off the board first, because then when you're in the middle of the drafts, you get these average-ish kind of players that, because everybody just has a bunch of money, now we're going for ridiculous amounts of money. Basically, this is what happened in one of my auctions that I did a couple years ago, where Lamar Jackson, who I think was the first quarterback nominated off the board, went for, I think at that time it went for maybe about 25% of somebody's money.
Yeah.
I could have completely made that up, but we'll just say 25%.
This is a good story. Yeah, this is really good.
And then so another couple other quarterbacks went. Obviously, Pat Mahomes broke 30%, was above Lamar. Josh Allen was above Lamar. But then we got to guys, at the time that were Joe Burrow was actually ahead of Lamar, because he was one of the last elite tier quarterbacks. So his price got vaulted tremendously, because everybody realized that there was a tier break. So he got valued over Lamar. And a couple other quarterbacks at that time also did get boosted up to around the same price as Lamar, where you're sitting there and you're at the end of the draft, you're man, if I was spending, 25% of my startup auction money, I'd rather just have Lamar over all these other quarterbacks. So that's in my experience has been that the mediocre mid-tier players get a little bit higher priced up because everybody has money.
So basically, you can do whatever you want in a startup. That's the takeaway. That really is. I mean, The startup is react to how your room is playing. If everybody's spending big early, save some cash and pivot. If people aren't spending up on big names early, then go and get discounts on elite players. It's really going to depend on your auction room. Because Addison, I've had literally the polar opposite experience where like these early players go for 20, 30, 40% of budget. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, well, I got DK Metcalf for $4 or something crazy. So read your auction room. I know that's probably not helpful or what you're looking for here, but that is the best advice, is just to be adaptable.
For roster construction, in terms of that, it's my roster construction doesn't change in terms of I want to prioritize quarterbacks and wide receivers. I will probably end up going 0 RB, but I will have a lot of running backs because I want options every single week. And tight end just fits in there. If you find a value, then just take a tight end.
Yeah, shouldn't really change roster construction. Good teams are good teams.
Dave's asking, how do we beat us in a listener league? Asking for a friend. I believe if you prioritize the running back position.
Yeah, really go heavy on the running backs.
Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry.
Eckler. Yeah.
Yep, all those guys.
Throw in a LaShawn McCoy if you're feeling frisky. Just really get anybody you want in there.
Yep. Connor's asking, how do you go about drafting running backs in a dynasty startup?
How do you go about drafting running backs? I'm waiting.
This kind of goes hand in hand with the auction one.
There's two young running back in a startup. There's two running backs I'm typically targeting early, and then after that, I'm kind of punting. It's Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. I will always target the rookies of that season early because they're the most insulated in terms of value. They have ideally the longest lifespan. So if I'm gonna go running back, I'll typically grab the high end or borderline elite rookies early. If I'm gonna grab any at all, otherwise I'm gonna punt.
Yep, I am basically always 0 RB in dynasty startups unless some sort of value ends up, like if you're in an entire room of people that are also going 0 RB and you get like Saquon Barkley in the 3rd round or something like that. I don't know. Like, those things can happen because you could be in rooms where a lot of other people are, into dynasty like that as well too. So those things can happen. And I will take running backs in those specific instances, but I am generally just give me in startups and superflex startups specifically. I want at least 2 quarterbacks, probably at least 2, if not 3 wide receivers, maybe even a tight end. And then I start really fitting in the running backs as they come to me.
Yep.
And that's typically in like the 30s at that point, like RB 33 is probably like my first running back. We got a member in here. Oh man. Miram. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miram.
I like it. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. But Miram is a YouTube member. So thank you for the support. And if you would like to get your comments prioritized in these live streams, access to other videos, and we're working on some other tools and resources for you guys behind the scenes as well to get you a little bit more information from Justin and I. But these are all the perks that you get with the YouTube membership. But Miriam's asking, Christian Watson was recently in your polarizing players piece. What are some running back plus 2 Watson deals that you would do? Running backs I would move from my squad include Akers, Pacheco, and Gibson. So I'm assuming based on this, you want to move one of those 3 plus something equals Christian Watson. What's the plus?
So the name I'd like to move is Pacheco. He's the name I'm of the 3. I'd probably go Pacheco, Gibson, Akers in that order. It's probably not the value they'll get back on each of the 3,
right.
But Pacheco, and then like if I could give up, I'm trying to think of who's in that range. Like, would you give up Pacheco and like Jameson Williams if you have him?
Yes,
for Christian Watson.
The first thing I thought of was I feel like you need to do, like, I'd be willing to do Pacheco in a late 2024 first. But if you want to keep your first and keep that flexibility,
I'm not doing
I was trying to think of the players that kind of ride that line between a first and a second. And I think Jameson Williams is a fantastic example of that. I feel like, there's other guys in there like a Jahan Dotson or an Amari Cooper or, those kind of wide receivers in that range.
Christian Kirk.
I really like Christian Kirk.
I know you do. Would you do Pacheco and Kirk for Christian Watson? I would. I think I'm fine making that deal because you're getting a lot of youth back you're getting 2 years back with Watson. it is a higher ceiling. And if that's what you're prioritizing, he has a much higher ceiling than Christian Kirk does.
I'm more apt to add Pacheco to Kirk. I would not do it for the other two.
Agreed. Fully agreed. I'm talking Pacheco specifically.
Yeah. That's. I think I would do it for Christian Kirk. And then if you're looking for kind of tight ends in that range too, I don't know if you have an extra additional tight end, but maybe you could do it with like a Pat Freiermuth if they need a tight end, or
is somebody taking Pacheco and Freiermuth for Christian Watson?
I don't know.
I don't think somebody's taking that.
Maybe you need to toss in something back in there, but would you do Kincaid and Pacheco?
Yeah, I'm fine giving up a rookie tight end. That's
Goddard and Pacheco.
Yes, as long as I have
another Goddard.
no, not even that. But like a Greg Dulcich, I think if he's sitting there, I'll roll the dice on him. But that's tough. You're probably not getting a running back tight end for a wide receiver deal done in most leagues.
Probably, yeah. Unless the Christian Watson's like his wide receiver 4 or 5, and he needs massive help elsewhere.
Yep, agreed.
But yeah, those are some ideas. I would hesitate to give away your first or a first, but I try to find some sort of a player substitute that kind of rides that line. So hopefully that helps. I just saw the Saints cut Kiki Cootie, and that made me sad. Yeah, I didn't even know he was still in the league, but I liked him.
He popped up. I was doing research the other day. His name popped up when I was looking at route running comps from the rookie season for Treylon Burks. That's terrifying.
Oh no.
It was bad. I saw the names around Treylon Burks were disgusting for like man coverage success rates. It was a bunch of slot wide receivers. It's not what you want to see for Treylon Burks.
Yikes. Well, hopefully with Nukentown, they'll move him into the slot and then he'll be released.
It's just so it's going to be bad.
DP's asking, would you trade the 205, 207 and Gabe Davis for the 1.09 in a super flex?
Yes.
All day, every day.
Not even thinking about it.
And I would take Zay or Kincaid. Doesn't matter. I'd take either one of those two over that whole package.
Yeah, I'd give you Zay Flowers all day.
Peter's coming right for you, Justin. How do you see the Bears backfield playing out this year and moving forward?
So I'm still of the belief that Khalil Herbert's the best running back in this backfield. Like from a pure runner, he is better. He's more explosive than Deonta Foreman. I get he's coming off of a great season. Khalil Herbert is just an overall better player. Where the downfall is he can't pass block. As a Bears fan, I am very aware he is incapable of pass blocking. So I think for fantasy, Herbert's the one you want. Long term, I don't think their long term back is on the roster. Like Roschon Johnson, I think ultimately is going to bounce around, be a nice handcuff piece, get some third down work. But I don't think he turns into the star that a lot of people expect him to be. He's going to be behind Herbert and Deonta Foreman in terms of rushing. So it's going to be ugly, but Herbert's my bet if I'm taking one back here that could finish inside the top 20.
You've been on the Herbert train all offseason. So
yeah, I'm not switching just because I wasn't super high on Roschon coming out anyways. I thought he was a solid player, nothing spectacular. He'll stick around and be like a very, very good backup for a lot of his career, like an Alexander Madison potentially. But I don't think Roschon's going to come in and just steal that work. Khalil Herbert just has a next gear that a lot of other running backs on this roster don't.
Yeah. I do. If I was picking one of the three, I would take Roschon because I believe he has the capability of being a complete back that Khalil Herbert does not have, that Deonta Foreman does not have. He has the skill set to be a 3-down workhorse and be really good in between the tackles, be a good receiver out of the backfield as well, pass blocking, all that kind of stuff. Roschon, that is the upside that Roschon has. And yeah, I'm sure the longevity is not there. I mean, we were arguing the same thing with Dameon Pierce. We've been saying it with Algier, with Isaiah Pacheco, but it's not like the Bears have shied away from using later round running backs and keeping them. I mean, one of my comps for Dameon Pierce in terms of a more long-term success was Jordan Howard. And if Roschon could assert himself as the Bears starting running back, and then he could be the next Jordan Howard. Now that only gives you 2 or 3 years, but that still is kind of the upside that you're kind of getting with Roschon, I think. So I'm investing in him over Herbert and over Deonta Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman's the odd man out in terms of actual value. Like if I'm, it's for me, it's Herbert, Roschon, and then Foreman's sitting way down here.
Right. Which hopefully that doesn't come back and bite us in the butt, but
It will. It will.
It
It's gonna, because Khalil Herbert's gonna get banged up, and then we got to watch Foreman and Roschon split.
Hey, Foreman was really good last year at Carolina.
He was great. He was very solid. I don't know what the hell happened there, but he was solid that season.
Jaden, playing in my first 16-team redraft league, start one quarterback. Any tips for Jaden?
Elite QB is a little more important in a 16-team redraft league for the sole reason of, one, it's much harder to stream QBs because everybody's probably going to roster two. That you'll just see that more often.
Right.
A lot of more people will roster an additional quarterback because they know the waiver wire isn't as full. So I'm more inclined to go early QB here because it's also, I think, a big differentiator, right? A Patrick Mahomes versus whoever's starting QB, 14, 15, 16. It's a pretty drastic difference. And that's my big thing there is going heavier on QB earlier.
Yeah. Would you go for a Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, or are you just kind of waiting and seeing if you can get good value on a Burrow or a Herbert or a Lamar?
I'd probably wait for that not necessarily second tier, but like that next batch of quarterbacks, like you said, Lamar, Burrow, Herbert, Fields, Lawrence. I'm a lot happier living in that tier. But if Mahomes slips to like late second, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on like a Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, or Mahomes, Allen, Hurts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Because it is 16 teams, so that adds an additional, a late second in this format is more like a late third, early fourth.
Exactly.
Something like that. But I do agree with you. I would prioritize quarterback a little bit more. I probably would also not go for one of the top three. And we both love Justin Herbert this year. I love Lamar Jackson as well. I think you do too.
Yeah. Always.
Joe Burrow is fantastic, assuming that he's healthy and is not going to sit for like a month of the season, like Jamar Chase is telling him to.
I hope to God not.
But yeah, I would probably go for more of that tier. And then I think the rest of it is just kind of the same. Like running backs are still very important. Tight end could be a little bit more important too, maybe, and for a similar reason as the quarterback for the onesie position, because somebody out there is going to be starting, Dalton Schultz, and somebody else is going to be starting Mark Andrews. There's a difference there.
Right. Like the onesie positions are a huge differentiator. Like starting Travis Kelce versus who's tight end 16, Cole Kmet, something like that. It's a big drop off.
Aaron, also a YouTube member, is asking, in a 10-team Superflex start 9, half PPR, half tight end premium, he is rebuilding. The owner is shopping 105 for a running back. Would you offer Travis Etienne for the 1.05? He also has the 101, 106, 109. And the best running back behind Etienne is currently Elijah Mitchell. So he is rebuilding. On the rebuilding team here, would you trade away Etienne for the 105?
Yeah. I would. Again, you're in Superflex, right? Yeah, you're in Superflex, so you have a shot at Stroud or Young or maybe Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Worst case, right? If Gibbs goes there, JSN's sitting there, and I would trade Travis Etienne for JSN in a rebuild. I think that's a very, very good pivot. I'd be very happy for that.
Yeah. I agree. I would trade Etienne for I'm assuming you're getting CJ Stroud. If it kind of follows as Bijan, Richardson, Young, Gibbs, that leaves you with CJ Stroud. Or like you said, worst case scenario, you get JSN. Either one of those two, I'm trading Travis Etienne away for, especially on a rebuilding team.
Would you take Stroud? He threw an interception in the preseason. That's pretty tough.
Yikes, dude. Oh, no.
People were victory laughing. CJ Stroud throwing an interception. What the hell are we doing?
This is preseason my favorite time because we've been so starved for content and action that like every little thing matters now. when it's
the biggest news that's ever happened.
It's so much fun.
Love it.
Nate has 2 late first 2024 picks. He's trying to send an offer to give Jared Goff, David Njoku, and a late first and DeAndre Hopkins and a third to get Kyler and Mark Andrews. All right, hold on. I need to digest this.
Okay, so in terms of value, it's probably the 2024 first. Jared Goff, maybe.
Well, Kyler.
Well, I know I'm saying
on
of
his
what
side.
you're on that side. So you're giving up the first, Goff, Hopkins, Njoku, and a third. Like I'm giving up
Kyler and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I want Kyler and Mark Andrews. You're just as you're going through it, the 2 most valuable pieces are on that side.
Yep.
I don't care what else is below it. Give me the 2 most valuable pieces.
Does this change in a 1 quarterback? Because he didn't specify if this was Superflex or not. We just assumed it was Superflex.
Super. But yeah, if it's 1 QB,
it doesn't change for me.
No, Mark Andrews is still. Kyler is a massive upgrade over Jared Goff, and Mark Andrews is a massive upgrade over everything else there too. I don't think it matters.
Kyler and Andrews.
Yep.
Brandon's asking, is A.J. Brown a sustainable dynasty asset for a middle-of-the-pack team? He also has Amon-Ra, Cooper Kupp, or is that Amari Cooper? Cooper and Drake London.
It's got to be. He would call it Kupp, not Cooper Kupp.
That's probably Amari Cooper. I'd call him Amari, but
yeah, I wouldn't be moving A.J. Brown. You're middle of the road. Again, if London hits, you're looking at a elite group of wide receivers. I think you're fine. The one I'd be looking to move if you're middle of the road and trying to go towards a rebuild, I'd probably move on from like Amari Cooper. But I don't see any reason you need to move A.J. Brown without like other details here.
The only reason that I do think that A.J. Brown is a good asset for a middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Because he's still only, I believe he's 26 still. He just turned 26.
Yeah, he's young.
So he is basically like 3 months older than DK Metcalf, or 5 months older than DK Metcalf. So he's not like an old asset. And the only reason that I would really be trying to move away from him is if I can pivot nicely over to like CeeDee Lamb or Garrett Wilson. Those would be the only other 2 or unless you can add something like a second or a couple seconds or something and go up and get Jefferson or Chase, but that's probably not happening. But those are really the only 4 players that I'd be willing to move off of A.J. Brown to. Like I'm not trying to get to a quarterback or a running back, assuming that you don't need those.
Yeah, I'm sticking. He's 26. No need to panic.
Right. Mustang, also YouTube member. What's up,
Nice.
Mustang? He's asking if you had to pick between Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, who and why, and what is the difference in value?
Okay. I know my answer, and I think I know yours. So you go first here.
I'm taking Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, because we've already seen it. And boy, was it fantastic when we did see it. We are hopeful that Trevor Lawrence can turn into the quarterback that Justin Herbert has already shown that he can be. That's essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's it. They're both first-round picks. Like in a super flex startup, they should both be first-round picks, but it's a tier break because it's, the haves and have-nots. Like that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Lawrence is in that tier ideally by the end of this season, but if I have to if I have to pick just in a vacuum, I'm going to take Herbert because I know it's been done.
Right. And now he gets a better offensive coordinator. He gets Quentin Johnston added in as well too. Just like Lawrence got Ridley, Herbert gets Quentin Johnston. Probably not really a direct comparison, but at least additions. They both got additions to what and Herbert has better weapons prior to the addition of the other wide receiver coming in.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference in value between the two? Like if you had Justin Herbert, what would you be willing to take with Trevor Lawrence to trade down? Does the second get it done?
Probably 2 seconds. Like I'm not giving up a first. I don't think 1 second is enough. It's probably somewhere in the middle, like a
Jameson Williams.
It's Jameson Williams again. That's probably another 2 seconds or maybe a 2025 first I'd go for. I'm not giving up a 2024. I think that's way too much.
I'd do a 2026 first if you're able to trade away 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I think that's worth it to me because I believe that Lawrence gets up into that tier. So if you're able to take advantage of the value difference now that might not be there in 4 or 5 months and you get an extra first on top, even if it's a few years down the road.
Yeah, that's worth it. I'm with you.
Where was I? Jaden has a really bad team. He's thinking of picking 1 through 3. Offered me Kyler for it, but I'm still hesitant because of the potential of the first. So this is, I'm assuming, again, a super flex.
Yeah.
He has a really bad team. He's thinking his pick is going to be top 3, and somebody offered Kyler for that pick.
It's really, I'm not gonna do it, but it really puts to the test of like this would have been fine for Kyler pre ACL.
Yes,
but post ACL, the value's not there. So why would I pay full what should have been full price a couple months ago?
Caleb Williams will probably be more valuable than Kyler Murray whenever he's
more valuable right now. Like if you told me I could just draft Caleb Williams, I'm doing it over taking Kyler Murray without hesitation. Even with a year delay, doesn't matter.
And Marvin Harrison's probably going to enter as a top 7 wide receiver almost immediately.
He's going to be insane.
So
Henderson's going to be top 10 probably as a running back. Like there's Raheem Sanders, whoever your RB1 is. With the way things are going, they'll probably end up a top 10 running back in Dynasty immediately. So,
yeah, I'm just keeping the flexibility of the pick. It allows you to make your team worse to further solidify getting Caleb Williams too.
Yeah.
So rather than, yeah. Robert, 10 team, half PPR, start 9. He traded away Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Tyler Lockett, and Mike Evans, and got Amon-Ra St. Brown and David Montgomery. He had plenty of wide receiver depth, but did he overpay for Amon-Ra? Nope.
I don't think you overpaid, but I also don't think you underpaid. Like you know what I mean? Like I think it's fine. I don't really. I don't know. It's fine.
Russ and I on the trade show, we talk all the time about how you have to overpay a little bit to get the better asset. When you're doing these 2-for-1, 3-for-1 deals, you have to overpay to break up a dollar bill into, 4 quarters or, all
Is that how that works?
Not in the financial world, no. But that's the analogy.
I don't think that's right.
No, 4 quarters is $1, but nobody wants to hand you their dollar bill and then receive 4 quarters back. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather just keep the piece of paper.
Yes, that sure, yeah, man.
I'm trying to go as far as I can with this analogy.
You're doing really, really good here.
Thank you. I'd take the Amon-Ra side on this one. This is one of those moves that I like because I don't like to have a lot of wide receiver depth. I like to be lean at the position, having surefire every single week options, and that allows me to have more running backs on my team that I can, stream and be able to mess with as my RB2 or as my flex.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, I think, how you do it. You take away the upside, but the uncertainty of Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers. You get rid of 2 aging assets that are probably going to be massively devalued this time next year compared to even what they are already. And you just go up and get, I believe Amon-Ra St. Brown's a borderline top 5 receiver, and you get Dave Montgomery. Like that's not a nothing piece either. You get an RB2.
Demo's great.
Yeah.
Again, if you're competing, big Dave Montgomery fan.
Yeah. So I love this. I don't think you overpaid.
No, it's not an overpay by any means. But again, I think it's fair price. You're giving up 2 what would have been 2 2023 firsts, Lockett and Evans. I think that's a fair price.
2 firsts for Amon-Ra, 2 seconds for David Montgomery.
Yeah, pretty much.
Done. Nate's asking, how do we feel about Brandon Aiyuk this season? I love him. Are you in?
I want to love him. Like I think Brandon Aiyuk is very, very good. Like he is a great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But that offense, man, it's just something about it that I can't rely on them week to week. As long as everybody's healthy, it's just not really fun. It's just not fun at all. You know what I mean? Like you're never, if everybody's healthy, if you have a full complement of CMC, Debo, Kittle, Aiyuk, you're not excited to start Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
It will never feel that way. At least I don't think it will. But that being said, I like Brandon Aiyuk as a player a lot, and I cannot wait. I desperately need him to get the hell out of San Francisco, because wherever he goes, he's going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point that since someone needs to get hurt, Kittle's dealing with an adductor strain already.
Back in, baby. There we go.
Brandon Aiyuk, money. I think
he's great when Kittle's out. That is true.
That's true too. And I just think Aiyuk is one of those players on the offense that has a solidified role. Like he is a wide receiver. He doesn't do the whole Debo Samuel thing. Christian McCaffrey also runs in to a lot and overlaps a lot with Debo's usage and role. You know, Kittle has his role as a tight end, but you know, a lot of the time he's blocking because he's just a really good blocker. And you know, then he has the receiving ability as well. But Aiyuk is the receiver. So I like that he has at least that role defined in the offense, and he'll always have that opportunity going for him.
Agreed. He will. He's basically the poster child for like talent over situation. Like having him on my roster feels nice because I know he's a good wide receiver. I just need the situation to change. Him and Michael Pittman. Those are the poster child right now for, you know, situation or talent over situation.
I think I skipped over John's question.
Probably.
John.
A whole lot going on here.
12-team Superflex, half PPR, start 11. Would you give JT Pittman and a late 24 second and get Najee Christian Watson in a first? He has Lamar, so I'm not sure if I should try for Flowers instead of Watson for the stack, or would you keep Watson in there?
So JT over Najee. Watson and Pittman are probably equal.
First over the second.
First over the second for sure. That's tough. I mean, it depends. Are you competing this year? Because I'm competing, I probably want the Najee. What the hell do you think here? I can't make sense of this.
He also has Lamar, Tua, and Bryce Young at quarterback, JT Pollard and backups at running back with Pitts and Higbee at tight end.
Who are the other wide receivers? I think that matters.
Well, he has he was wondering if he should go.
Oh, there it is. Lamb, Higgins, Waddle, Addison. Jesus. It's a loaded roster.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it matters, John.
I don't think it matters.
That's the answer. No, I'd probably go and add the first then, because you're going to get similar production, add the better draft capital, and then just continue to add to a loaded roster.
I think that's the right answer. And would you do this deal with Zay Flowers involved instead?
Instead of Watson?
Flowers instead of Watson?
No, I have Watson ahead of Flowers in ranks.
I agree. I think that changes the value enough that it would not make sense to move away from Jonathan Taylor. But I think with Christian Watson in there, with the wide receivers that you have, I think Watson is the only one capable of breaking into this and being a potential starter, you know, and being a guy that you can potentially be starting over like a T. Higgins, you know, or a Jordan Addison. I don't think Zay Flowers really has that ability. You add the first, which
he could, but it's riskier.
Yeah. And I don't think the stack really does much to really help that as well, too.
No, I don't care. I really don't care about stacks all that much unless it's like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. If it's Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, like the elite level stacks. Otherwise, I don't really care. It's not best ball.
I'd prioritize it if it was a flex, but
that's fair.
Zay Flowers probably isn't a flex when you have top five wide receivers.
Unless it's start 15, you're not playing Zay Flowers in that scenario.
He says that he's tempted to add the first though because it could end up being early. That just makes me want the first even more.
Yeah, you've struck gold, John. Take the deal.
Do it. Do it.
I'm sure there's others in here.
Yeah, I gotta scroll back up to where we were. Kevin, how low are we selling Zeke this offseason? Is Zeke for Cade Otton straight up a smart buy low in a non-tight end premium?
can I drop both? Like, is that an option?
No, like Cade Otton.
You should. Cade Otton's fine, but I'm not prioritizing Cade Otton like a 1-for-1 deal. Zeke will give you more value than Cade Otton likely ever will the rest of his career. I think that's the most likely outcome. I'd rather just hold Zeke or trade him for like a random third than get Cade Otton. I know Cade Otton was in your video months ago. I remember that one. Otton. Just who cares about Cade Otton? Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's a streamable asset, but there's a lot of streamable tight ends. Say Zeke lands in.
Well, if Zeke lands in New England, I'm interested.
I was gonna say Zeke lands in New England, or like, what about a team that really needs like a power runner, like Dallas?
like Dallas,
like they got Lightning and Tony. Like, what if they added a hammer and Zeke?
Yeah, I'd probably take Zeke in this.
What if he lands with the Chargers? I saw somebody float that out there.
Oh,
kind of interesting. Granted, like Eckler's good in the red zone, but still, ton of opportunity there still.
I would like that, and he would definitely be better than like Josh Kelly and Isaiah Spiller.
Everybody's better than Josh Kelly and Isaiah Spiller.
I would buy Zeke for that.
They got Larry Roundtree. What are you talking about?
I think they cut him.
Did he get cut finally?
I think he's on.
Finally, it's been a year.
I'll take Zeke, Kevin.
Yeah.
Robert, 12-team hat PPR. Wow. Starting lineup requirements. Got nothing at running back. Charbonnet, Deion Jackson, Keontae Ingram. No, you have a top 25 running back who could probably be top 18 minimum.
Higher.
And you have one of the best handcuffs in the league. What are you talking about? You got nothing at running back. Anyway, what's your price on some rental vets on the cheap? Stacked at wide receiver. Okay at quarterback. Has 3 firsts, 3 seconds, 3 thirds. All right. So the first name is James Conner.
It is James Conner.
James Conner. Send one of your seconds. I would even send both of your seconds and just go get James Conner. Done.
Yeah. Immediate easy rental. If you guys follow me on Twitter there, you just search James Conner under my tag. There's 1,000 James Conner tweets. I will die on the hill for James Conner. The other name is David Montgomery.
There you go.
Take your 3 seconds and your 3 thirds, send a second and a third for James Conner, send a second and a third for David Montgomery. You probably have 2 top 20 running backs this year, or guys with the potential to be top 20 running backs this year.
There you go.
That's easy.
Done. We fixed it.
Is there anybody else? Any other names? Because those 2.
I'm starting to become more and more into the James Cook stuff, but I think his price is also rising because of it. Like, I don't think we're getting skeptical buy low James Cook anymore. Like,
I don't think you could buy low on him. I think that's gone. At least from what I've seen. We're also forgetting, and this is the issue with a lot of Dynasty, is like a lot of us ripped on James Cook as a prospect. But like, yeah, he's not a good prospect. There's a reason he's in, wherever the hell he's going. You should be fading James Cook and this and that, right? Okay, well, he's the same player, guys. He just has opportunity staring him in the face. And people are kind of losing their minds over it. James Cook could be very good. He could also not be anything at all because he's in that like BMI danger zone. So something to think about. I'd rather go get Damian Harris for like 2 thirds than go give up like a lot of people are asking for first for James Cook right now. Like, I've seen that requested. I'm like, that's just not happening. So I'd rather give up thirds like Damian Harris and maybe it falls in the end zone for 10 touchdowns. And you gave up borderline nothing to get him. I think that's more interesting at cost.
Antonio Gibson is another name that I'll toss out as well too. So Connor, Gibson, Dave Montgomery,
Brian Robinson.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it if it was just 1 second and it was a late one.
I'd probably still hate it. But he didn't do the same thing that Damian Harris will, just on a worse offense.
Yeah. Caesar? I just watched Planet of the Apes. That trilogy is so good.
Dude,
Anyway.
so I don't know what order they go in.
Like
I see them pop up on Hulu. I'm like, I want to watch this. I'm like, is this
Rise, Dawn, War? Is that the
maybe?
And then there's a new one coming out next year. I think it's called Kingdom.
Sure.
I'm so excited for it. But anyway, sorry. We can just move on to talk about Kenny Pickett and talk about how much we hate him. Is he a buy, sell, hold?
Well, here's the thing. In a vacuum, sell. I don't want Kenny Pickett. But, like, if I need a QB3 and I can't – what are you selling Kenny Pickett for? Like, what's the value? Because there's still value there. Like, some people like Kenny Pickett.
In our last ADP, Kenny Pickett is ahead of Rodgers, Stafford, and Derek Carr. Done.
What the hell is
that's automatically done? And he's only a few spots behind Russell Wilson and Geno Smith. Also done. If you have to add like a
he wasn't in my. If you guys go check out our quarterback rankings video that I did, he didn't even make the top 24. I don't care about Kenny Pickett.
No, he did not.
But like, so what's the value? Like, in terms of, you're probably not getting a 1-for-1 quarterback deal done most of the time. So in terms of like picks, you giving up, if you can get a first, I'm assuming you take literally any first, doesn't matter the year.
I would do 24 and 25. I would not. The 26, but yeah.
I agree. I think the hate would go too far there. If you can get 2 2024 seconds for Kenny Pickett, are you doing it?
No, that's not worth it.
Agreed. So I think that's about the line. Like, I don't like Kenny Pickett, but if I'm not getting at least a random first, I'm probably not going to make the deal.
Would you do Sam Howell in a second?
To me, that's just 2 random seconds. But yeah,
no,
probably.
The Sam Howell disrespect.
Sam Howell might not even be the starter by the end of the season. There is a world. I loved Sam Howell coming out, and then he went in the 5th round, and
apparently
I got really skeptical. I'd rather give me Sam Howell in a second, fine, but I'm not excited about it. It's rough. Kenny Pickett's bad. Like, he's bad at football.
Yes, he is bad. Not good. When you only throw 7 touchdowns in your rookie year, oof.
That, like, it puts him in the same categories like Mitch Trubisky, Jimmy Clausen, and some other really bad names. I don't know. Was it you that tweeted that out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an ugly group.
Gross.
Yep.
Thoughts on JSN's market value? Currently valued very similarly to T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, and DK Metcalf. Would you sell for any of those 3? Does the start 10 versus the start 13 change your value on JSN for that?
I mean, he's a high value asset. Start 10, start 13 doesn't really change much for me. I expect him to be in my starting lineup.
In both formats.
You know, if I'm drafting him, like, you know what I mean? Like, we value him highly. I don't think I value him ahead of any of those 3, though.
No.
Like, spoiler, like, the video I'll be recording after this includes DK Metcalf, and I'm still very high on DK Metcalf right now. I can't take JSN over all of them because we've seen those guys do it. Like, I think when you get to that point where especially at wide receiver, overrating rookie wide receivers, I think it's just putting too much confidence in us as like normal people to rank and evaluate NFL talent. It is a very difficult thing to do. I'm going to rely on the players, or I'm going to lean the players that have shown elite level ceilings already before I put JSN ahead of them, before I rank JSN ahead of them, or trade any of them for JSN.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel as well too. It's, if you're able to take JSN and move to one of those 3, I'm absolutely doing that in a heartbeat. If you got to add a 3rd to JSN, do it. You know, honestly, if it's like a late second or some player that you drafted in the mid to late second this year, and you got to do that, and as another rookie, I'm doing that too, just to go to get one of those guys, especially Higgins and DK. I just feel like their ceilings are a lot higher in the next year or 2 than
alpha wide receivers don't suddenly stop being alpha wide receivers in terms of like target share. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. So check out the video, and it'll drop probably Monday is my guess, Addison.
Probably, yeah. Maybe
so
Tuesday.
players moving up our rankings. Check that out, guys. I'm going to get into this whole JSN DK Metcalf conundrum. Look at that word. It's a good one.
Conundrum. That's a word. John's asking, would you give Pittman in a 24 first for Amon-Ra St. Brown? Absolutely.
Smash. The dude, the gif of the guy in the backpack and the hammer.
Smash. 12 teams start 8, traded T. Higgins for Christian Kirk, Jamal Williams, and a mid to late 24 first. Now has 5 firsts going forward.
I kind of like it. I kind of hate it.
Fence.
I kind of like it. I kind of hate it.
I really like Christian Kirk.
I know that's the issue. Jamal Williams, admittedly, I don't really care about. I think he isn't really relevant by the end of the season. I think he'll kind of fall away. Kirk in a mid to late first for Higgins. Give me Higgins.
Yeah, this goes in with the other one when we were talking about trading all those wide receivers to go up and get Amon-Ra and like David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Where I like to be lean. I like to move up at the wide receiver position. I'm all for going down at the running backs, but I typically usually like to go up at wide receiver.
And I think John brought up a good point in the chat. It's start 8. So if you're starting 8, high level talent is key.
There you go.
Like elite level assets carry much more weight.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You're missing value here. I think A, because we don't value Jamal Williams like this, but then also B, it's just not enough in general for a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Tyler made an appearance in the chat.
Oh.
What do you think about Luke Musgrave?
He's very athletic. But here's the thing, like if I'm gonna he's a good sleeper tight end. He is a good sleeper tight end because your sleeper tight ends need to be athletes because those are the only players that have a legitimate chance to be great for fantasy long term. A lot of times they won't pan out. Like Jelani Woods is probably going to fall into that category. Freak athlete, monster, hope he works out, probably won't. Musgrave could very well fall into that same category, but I'm going to take him over a guy like Cade Otton because Cade Otton is boring and just not really a needle mover. Musgrave could turn into that. So as a sleeper, like a tight end 3, tight end 2 on my roster, I'm fine with it. I just don't want to have to rely on him this year.
I was looking at our ADP because I was going to say that like Musgrave feels like he's kind of been forgotten about from this wide receiver class. I don't know if it's because, yeah, he's kind of a wide receiver, but yeah, the tight end class.
That's a good thing.
I don't know if it's because the Packers drafted 2 of them, so it's kind of like, or if we're just, it's the whole Jordan Love thing and it's the Jaden Reed, and I don't know. It just feels like Luke Musgrave has kind of been forgotten about. And like I was going to compare him and his value to a guy like Luke Schoonmaker, who at least on Twitter, I feel like I've seen Schoonmaker's name a ton more. And I don't know if that's just because of the recent news that he's returning from the injury that he's had like all summer. And now he's starting to get camp work.
Cowboys fans are loud too.
There is that too. But it just feels like out of all of these later round tight ends that you want to have upside and hope for after like the Dulciches and the Chigs and, the like Michael Mayer and Sam Laporta's, like those guys, and you start getting into the next tier, Musgrave is in that tier. It just doesn't feel like he is. Like he just kind of feels like he's like, oh yeah, we got this guy, we got this guy, we got this guy. Musgrave's in there too. And then, yeah, it's like, but I feel like he should be more than that.
It's kind of my tough to get excited about more, 4, 5 rookie tight ends. Like we only have so much capacity. Like that's really what it is. It's like rookie tight end exhaustion because we've talked about Laporta and Kincaid and Mayer so much the last year that Musgrave is just kind of the forgotten dude right now. Right. He's an interesting throw-in. He's a nice 3rd round pick if you haven't done your rookie drafts. I'm interested to that extent.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good question though. You don't give Luke Musgrave a lot of thought.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like he just is. But like everybody wants to talk about like Juwan Johnson is one of my favorite like later round tight ends, and Trey McBride for year 2, and Don't forget about Irv Smith in Cincinnati. And it's just like Luke Musgrave's just chilling there as a second-round pick.
He's going to go the way
that
of
has
Trey
opportunity.
He's going to go like Trey McBride, honestly. Like that feels like where he's headed. Like he's just forgotten. Trey McBride was very hyped up and then all of a sudden disappeared because Ertz is there. So it's interesting.
Spock. Next move, 12-team Superflex start 9, no PPR, no tight end premium. That's his whole entire team.
Very young, Jesus.
Jeez. What do you do with this roster then? Do you do anything? I hate to say just be like stagnant, but what is there to do?
If you want it, so
the tight end position.
I'm fine with that. Like it's interesting enough. There's enough upside. But like Dulcich is a top 12 tight end. At least that's how I view him. So unless you're going to make like a massive upgrade, you're not really moving the needle at tight end. This feels like a team that you could tear down to the studs a little bit from the running back position and shoot for a 2020, like competing in 2024. I think that long term is probably more interesting because CMC, JT Cook, like you've had your peak. You have had your run. I'm sure of it. If you can sell them, get some first, reload at wide receiver, or continue to add out depth at wide receiver, I think it's interesting, especially with your quarterbacks being a rookie, Justin Fields, and then Kyler Murray, who probably won't be back to form until 2024 anyways. It's you probably got to move CMC and JT.
As a part 2 of this, I'm assuming this is the same league. Would you trade Gibbs for a 24 first and a 26 first? I'm assuming it's the same roster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm smashing that deal.
Yeah. And then I think adding Gibbs in here makes it easier to move off of Jonathan Taylor. And you don't have to like move JT for like a wide receiver JT, but like move JT and like knock him down to Najee, like we just had with with John's trade, where he was talking about going from essentially it was JT and a second for Najee and a first.
Yeah.
That you can recoup one of the first that you lost for Gibbs. You can move down from Jonathan Taylor, and now your top 3 running backs look way better, than what you had with just JT, CMC, and Cook.
Thoughts on trading CMC for like, I don't know, James Conner and then a massive upgrade at wide receiver?
What's he upgrading? He's got Chase, Waddle, and Olave. You going to Amari up to? You can go so high.
I'm looking at rankings. I'm already
go so high.
There's room to come up from Amari. Like there's a massive.
You get like Lamb or AJ Brown, CMC and Amari for Lamb and Connor.
You could go after. You can go for Drake London. You could go for.
You can get higher than that.
I don't think. You think?
I think if you include Amari in the deal, you're definitely getting.
Oh, you're saying include Amari on top. So CMC
and Amari equals James Conner plus wide receiver. And I think you're in the Lamb AJ Brown territory. He already has Waddle and Olave.
Even Amon-Ra, like he's there.
Ra. Yep.
It's an Amon-Ra day.
I love Amon-Ra.
I fully come around after being the most out I've ever been on a player.
I believe if you want to hear more about Amon-Ra, I believe it's the video coming out on Monday on our sister channel at 444.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'll say. We got a super chat here for the memes. Ooh. I saw you down in there. I just wanted to finish up the thoughts that we had on that with Spock's roster. But here for the memes. Thank you so much for the super chat. If you want your question answered, basically immediately, more immediately than even the members potentially, if you toss the super chat down in there, we'll absolutely 100% dive into it as much as we can. But thank you for the super chat and for the support here for the memes. So he's doing his rookie draft right now. 1 quarterback PPR, 10-man. He traded Zeke for the 201. I don't know how you did that, but you did that. Richardson fell, so I took him, even though I have Trevor Lawrence. He's really excited. He has Dak as well, too. So essentially, he traded Ezekiel Elliott for the 2.01. and he's so excited that he threw $5 at us.
I'm excited for you too. We've talked
amazing.
about this. We have talked about Anthony Richardson's value in a 1 QB league. He should be the first quarterback off the board because Anthony Richardson has a ceiling that a lot of other quarterbacks just do not have. Like it doesn't exist because a lot of quarterbacks can't run for 1,000 yards. Anthony Richardson can do that.
Yep.
I'd probably be trying to move off of Dak now. I don't think you need to carry 3 quarterbacks, but I get the excitement. Like I fully understand that. And especially in a non-superflex league, things get really gross really quickly in 1 QB rookie drafts in the second round. So I'm fine with that. It's probably the highest upside play you can make there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, I think, after like behind his ADP in 1 quarterbacks is still like 106, 107, 108.
Yeah.
So not only did you get Anthony Richardson at a value compared to his ADP in 1 quarterbacks, but you also then traded Ezekiel Elliott for him. And I was laughing so hard because I saw Kevin's comment down here and goes, I wish I could trade Zeke for the 201. I'm over here looking at Kate Otten trade. Oh my goodness.
That's good. Oh, that's fantastic.
So I want to kind of end this. So we mentioned, or at least you mentioned, trading away Dak now because he has Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott. In a 1 quarterback league, what would you be looking to move Dak for? So his ADP right now, to give you a frame of reference, he's around positional players like Rashad Bateman, Kendre Miller, Mike Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, Tyler Lockett. That's the range, at least in ADP. I feel like you may not get that high. Maybe you will because you just traded Zeke for the 201. This league might want Dak. But that's the frame. Are you immediately selling Dak for all of those guys?
In this scenario, yes, because you have quarterback depth. Like I'm willing to take kind of, quote unquote, lose value potentially at quarterback. Like somebody's going to get Dak and they'll probably end up starting him every week. Mm-hmm. But that's fine because there's no world I'm ever starting Dak Prescott.
Right.
Like I just did the same kind of thing where I had in a 1 quarterback league, I had Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Deshaun Watson. I wasn't going to get fair value for literally any of them because everybody knows, well, they're just sitting on my bench. So I traded Deshaun Watson and kind of took a bath on value, but it made my depth better at other positional strengths. So I'm fine. Like I'm fine moving him. Just understanding I'm probably going to lose a little bit of perceived value when you make that deal.
Yeah. And I feel like I'd be more inclined to reach for upside when I'm trading away Dak in this. Like I don't want Kadarius Toney on like any of my rosters, but I feel like I'd be willing to trade Dak for Kadarius Toney in this just to roll the dice, just to, go up to the craps table and just see what happens.
But there's
I feel like I'd do the same with like Gabe Davis. Like I'd trade Dak for Gabe Davis too. You hate both of those suggestions that I just made, but I would be willing to do that.
I hate them so much. Like, because I would like, there's a difference between upside and like good upside. I don't think those players have good upside, like a good chance to hit their perceived ceilings.
Here, a round after Dak Prescott in our last ADP was Elijah Moore. There you go.
Smash it. Smash it.
There you go.
There it is. You found a name for me. I like it.
Will, 12-team Superflex. My team is middle of the pack, but I don't have enough to compete. He has Dak, Kyler, Bryce Young, and Mac Jones. He's trying to trade one of them, but he's not getting fair value. What do you think?
I mean, that sucks, but like that's my initial thought, man. That's a bummer. Yikes. But like, I would love to move Mac Jones, but yeah, there's no way you're getting anything of value in Mac Jones. I don't know what the hell you do here. Like you have to just get creative and create packages and try to sneak these quarterbacks into deals because that is three very quote unquote like unsexy quarterbacks. People don't like Dak Prescott, people don't like Kyler, and people hate Mac Jones. So like you're just probably better off holding the top names and then just like sneaking Mac Jones into a package
for Elijah Moore.
for Elijah Moore. Yeah, I mean, like you don't need to carry 4 quarterbacks also, so they'll probably take a bath on a little bit of value.
Yeah, I'm actually of the opinion where because you have these 3 quarterbacks, I think your issue is that you're in the middle of the pack not because of these 3 quarterbacks, but because of something else on your roster. Some other position is holding you back to where I'm actually not really. I wouldn't be looking to move these 3 guys. I would keep them going into next year.
The top 3?
Dak, Kyler, and Bryce.
Yeah, 100%. Like
Mac is expendable, but
they're like very. Again, they're unenjoyable to roster. Nobody looks at those players and goes, "Damn, like I want those guys." I mean, Bryce Young maybe because he's a rookie, but like you're just kind of holding value. Like this is how at the wide receiver position Amari Cooper has been for like a decade. Nobody ever wants Amari Cooper. It was Keenan Allen for a while too. Like some players aren't fun to roster, or like they don't look sexy on a roster, but they're going to produce and they're probably beat out their value or whatever you get back for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would look at other positions on your roster and see how you can improve the other ones because I think those 3 are actually pretty good.
Yeah, and then throw Mac into a package. He's a sweetener. He's not a headline part of a deal.
We've been mentioning his name basically all night, but what are your full thoughts on Greg Dulcich?
You say all night? It's noon.
All night, dude.
It is noon. Greg Dulcich is my favorite, like, sleeper tight end. Like the guy that isn't in that big time tier of players yet that could get there. I think he's a top 12 tight end this year with the potential to go higher because I don't love Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mims, I think is fine, but I don't think he out targets Dulcich this year. He could enter like the Dallas Goedert tier after the season.
Yeah.
That's lofty, but I think he could get there.
Or at least get to like Freiermuth.
Yeah, 100. Again, he had, I can't remember the exact stats, 3rd or 4th highest target share for a rookie tight end since like 2012. That is not a small feat. That is huge. So he is, I think people are very, very low on him and they shouldn't be, or as low as they shouldn't be. Somehow that makes sense.
Ken's in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Ken?
So we talked about at the top of the hour, I guess back at the last hour. But does Tank Dell's performance last night move the needle for you?
No.
I'm
sorry, Ken. It does not. He is, and he's smaller than me. He cannot weigh less than me and be shorter than me and be a good NFL wide receiver. Like that's the baseline. Also, it's preseason. I'm not getting too excited.
I'm not there yet.
Now,
Mark Andrews, good.
I was say if he puts up 80 yards and is running with the first team by the next 2 games, maybe things change a little bit. But like right now, no, it's not enough for the first game of the preseason.
I tweeted out actually like an hour and a half ago. I said if this many people are excited about Tank Dell, just wait until Charlie Jones and Michael Wilson play tonight because
Michael Wilson's the one. Like there is such a clear-cut role for Michael Wilson to step into.
Did you see? Everybody talks about it, but it's just so funny to see it in writing that he is the only receiver on their depth chart who's taller than like 5'9". And he's 6'2" or something like that. But he's like the only one taller than 5'9".
There's such a clearly defined role for Michael Wilson. The thing is, Michael Wilson really just wasn't healthy at all in college. Didn't do a whole lot because of it. It's a pure tools bet. Like betting on the tools the physical tools he has. So I'm interested to see, but
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews or Javonte? Straight up 1-for-1.
Mark Andrews.
I
like Charbonnet also, but
Mark Andrews.
Not that much.
Eric's asking, would you take Brock Purdy over any of these wide receivers in a 12-team Superflex PPR league?
Dotson, Flowers, Johnson, Kirk. No, I don't think so.
The only one that I think, are you taking Kirk as the one?
It's not going to be Deontay.
Well, that was the one that I was going to say. I feel like is the only one that I could make an argument for is Deontay because everybody hates Deontay. He is that player that you were talking about where everybody freaking hates Deontay. And no matter what he's going to do from the rest of his career from here on out, he's just going to always be undervalued. Whereas Purdy at least has sex appeal to where that, he's going to have the ability, if he takes off, that he could be worth like twice as much as Deontay.
Yeah, it's the upside play, yeah, because Brock Purdy has sex appeal. Everybody's saying it.
Quote.
Like it's an upside play if you're just going from pure value. But I think Deontay Johnson's a better like producer for fantasy. I think he has a better chance to move the needle in season, not just from a value standpoint.
I agree. I think, but he's the only one that I think is just so not flashy enough, not
People
sexy.
hate him. I know because it's 90% of my Twitter arguments are Deontay Johnson. So
he's gonna go out and have 100 for like 1,210 touchdowns this year, and he's gonna be the wide receiver 41 next year. He's gonna lose value from that.
I'm gonna be insufferable if he goes for like 1,108. I'm gonna be. That's not even a crazy stat line. I'm still gonna be insufferable.
That's basically what he's done for like 2 of the last 3 years.
Right, and people are like, "Gross, we don't care." Well, you're gonna.
Oh, part 3 of John's team's questions. Would you rather do the Jonathan Taylor for Najee Watson deal or the Pittman in the first for Amon-Ra deal? Which Amon-Ra deal would you rather have?
I'm gonna be honest, I blacked out. I don't know which of these deals he's talking about. Like I can't remember the ancillary pieces.
Pittman in a first for Amon-Ra is one of them, or JT Pittman and a second for Najee Watson in a first.
Pittman in a first. I think I'm taking that like pretty easily.
That's
Amon-Ra is more valuable than everybody else here.
And then if you can replace Pittman with another wide receiver and still do this deal, I would do that. Man, there's just so many people commenting. All right, let's fly through this. See how quickly we can go. Jaden, 10-team Superflex. I have an awesome quarterback room with Hurts, Lawrence, Dak, and Stroud. Oh, my God. Stacked at wide receiver, but thin at running back. Should I try and pair some of the quarterbacks to try to upgrade or try to strengthen the wide receiver room more?
Thin at running back. Yeah, go target the weakness in your roster. Go trade CJ Stroud for Travis Etienne.
Could you trade Stroud for Gibbs?
I don't think so.
Probably not. I mean, they're back-to-back in like rookie drafts, but that ADP is
in any league, like any startup I've done since rookie draft season, Gibbs is like a round or 2 ahead.
Sheesh. Would you give Dak for Gibbs and then just keep Stroud as your 3? Or is Dak more valuable?
I give them both for Gibbs. I don't think you'd get Stroud for Gibbs. You should be able to get Dak for Gibbs.
I would hope so. I would take one of those 2. I'd take Dak or Stroud, one of those 2. Whatever nets you a better running back, they're gone. That's how I'd approach this.
Yep, I'm with you.
Robert, non-dynasty. If Mike McCarthy doesn't deflate the ball at halftime every single week, how many Super Bowls do the Packers get in the Favre Rodgers era? 7, 10, all of them?
They don't get any additional ones because the Packers deserve to lose every damn Super Bowl. I hate that. That team has ruined my childhood. I'm tired of them having Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and I'm ready for Jordan Love to suck. That's where I'm at with this.
I also hate the Packers because if Rashard Mendenhall held on to the ball, the Steelers would have 7.
Yeah.
3 in my lifetime.
That was Rodgers, right?
Yeah, that was 2012.
Freaking choke artist wouldn't have won a single one.
We're both salty about Packers.
I hate them with every bone. We let them into the playoffs that year. It was literally our fault because we benched our starters in week 17, and then we played them, and they kicked the crap out of us in the NFC Championship. That is what happened, and it haunts me to this day. Lovie Smith, you bastard. Like, that's it. If Lovie Smith doesn't sit the starters, the Packers aren't in the playoffs. The Bears probably go to the Super Bowl, and I'm mad.
John's asking, would you give Laporta and a second for Mims and a first? 100%. Mims and a first.
Yeah. Take it all day long. Laporta, Mims, even. First. greater than second.
It is still a 2 tight end premium, so Laporta gets more value, but
I still think they're pretty even. I'm not. I think it's fine.
Bryant appreciates our content. We appreciate you watching our content. 12-man super flex startup first 4 rounds took Mahomes, Dak, Kyler, and Olave. Should I have took maybe Higgins instead of Dak or Kyler? Oh man, this feels like what happened.
We talked about this
last week. I don't think it was Bryant, but maybe somebody else did that where they were talking about Kyler just falling because of the value.
I prefer Higgins to Kyler in a vacuum. I know you might not, but I like T. Higgins enough to take him there.
I'd take Kyler over Higgins.
I think I prefer him there, but I do prefer Zack over Kyler. If you're trying to win this year, because Kyler's going to be much worse than Dak Prescott this season.
I don't think you made a mistake. I think we can say that. I don't think you made a mistake. You just now have some work to do. Which
is always fun coming out of startups because it gives you a reason to still like stay dialed in. It's kind of
nice. Yeah. So you can move around with Kyler and stuff. You could trade down to a better QB3. You could not a better QB3, but a more of a QB3. You know, you can go down to your Mac Jones level, your Russ, your Geno, your depending on how low you want to go, and then pick up a wide receiver from doing that. So you're gonna have trades, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Here for the memes. You guys have made my super chat a segment, and I'm so thankful for that. I appreciate your help and advice. You guys earned a sub and notifications turned on. Oh, thank you.
Do it up. Do more super chats. Do it.
Thank you. Great. We appreciate it. And we appreciate your super chat. So thank you for that as well, too. John's out here. He's a menace in the comment section.
John is a menace.
Oh, this is one. What are you adding to Burks to get Aiyuk and James Conner? He has 4 seconds, and I'm trying to move for win now players and would like to move off of Burks too. Well, those are both fantastic reasons to do this deal.
I read that as he had like 4 seconds left to make the deal, and I was like, "That's gone,
dude." I apologize. We got to your comment 7 minutes and 56 seconds too late.
I think I do Burks in a second for Aiyuk and Conner. I think it's fine.
I would continue to add seconds until you get to 3. I would not do Burks in 3 seconds.
I don't think you have to do. Yeah. I do not do 3, but
2
seconds. Start with 1. They should be accepting that. And if they don't,
I would do a second and a third.
Yep.
And then a second and a second.
Yep. And then maybe throw a third back your way with Aiyuk and Conner and a third for Burks in 2 seconds. I think that's the sweet spot.
There you go. Hopefully that gets the deal done for you.
Yeah.
Traveler. Giddy up. Rank Walker, Quentin Johnston, and Najee for PPR Dynasty. Got a running back loaded startup team since everyone thinks they have the plague. Opportunity to sell Najee for Quentin Johnston or Walker for Quentin Johnston in a second. So it's Najee, Walker, QJ is my ranking of the 3.
Yes. Yeah. Najee, Walker are close, but Charbonnet's there, so I have to bump him.
I would not sell Najee for Quentin Johnston straight up.
No, absolutely not.
Would I do Walker for Johnston in a 2?
Could you do Walker for Addison in a 2? Like Jordan Addison? I like that a lot more.
You didn't want me. I get it. I see how it is.
Yeah, I would. Can I do Walker for Russ in a 2? I'd do that over Addison.
Oh no, the trade show now has comparable NFL players that work as our names.
There we go. No, I'd probably be holding Walker and Najee. I think I'm lower on Q. I'm lower on Quentin Johnston though. So
as am I.
Well, yeah,
I think I think the QJ in a second for Walker is fair.
Agreed. I wouldn't do it, but it's fair. Like you're not going to get roasted for making that trade. I don't think.
Yeah. Now, if that second was some other wide receiver, instead of the second, maybe bumps up a little bit of value, like an Elijah Moore that we've mentioned already like 4 times now. But that gets done. I would do that if especially if you need wide receivers and you are giving away your running backs.
Yep, agreed.
Wesley, 10-team Superflex traded Goff and Purdy in the 109 and 110 for Burrow and a 24 first. Oh my God.
Goff, Purdy, 109. Smash.
You won.
Good. Also, smash. You're good. You're good.
You should be kicked out of the league for making too many good trades.
Also, go look at Giddy Up's comment down there at the very bottom.
Oh, he's already got Addison. Let's go.
There we go.
Nice. SWAT. Any thoughts on any moves I should make? 10 teams, full PPR, non-Superflex. So in a 1-quarterback league, this is his lineup. Again, another fantastic team. What do you do?
Mahomes. Wait, it's non-Superflex. I read that as non-PPR. Okay. Mahomes.
I don't do anything.
No, just go win a title. Like you.
The only possible thing I can think of is package Goddard and Njoku and Chig and just go get Kelsey. Then you have the Mahomes Kelsey stack.
I don't think anybody's doing that.
No, but I don't know what else to do.
What you can do is you package Njoku and Laporta and go add like a wide receiver.
I like Laporta though. I think he's the best tight end of that whole entire group after Goddard.
Then package Njoku and Chig and go get another wide receiver because you don't need to carry Njoku. You're likely never starting him over Dallas Goedert.
There's nothing you can do. You win a championship this year. That's the only thing that you do this year is you just go win a championship.
Yeah, that's about it.
And he's got Renegade Raider as his profile picture, so you already know boy gets dubs. Thoughts on Mike Williams and see? Do you know who Renegade Raider is?
I do not, Addison, but just such a stupid comment. Should I be knowing who Renegade Raider is? I'm laughing at boy gets dubs.
He does. Dude, he's
got Renegade damn Raiders Fortniter. Yeah. I haven't played Fortnite in a minute, man. It's been a while.
Well, we'll go hop on.
You don't want me on the sticks, I promise you.
Well, you'll probably give me some easy lobbies, so I'll carry you on my back, and we'll be easy. Anyway, back to the stream. Thoughts on Mike Williams and Devin Singletary for Jalen Hyatt, Romeo Doubs, and Devon Aching. So I see this as Mike Williams for Devon Aching. And Jalen Hyatt. It's not bad.
Give me Mike Williams. I don't like any of these players. Like just to be blunt, I don't like Jalen Hyatt. Romeo Doubs is an atrocious route runner. Devon Achane is tiny. He's a little small boy. So, like, Mike Williams is the only player on this list that has the potential to be a top 20 wide receiver this year. Top 20 player at their position.
The only thing that I could say to take the Achane and Hyatt side is if Williams is like your 4 or 5. And
he needs to be my 5. He needs to be my 5 or 6. Like,
yeah, even saying that in my head, it 10-man dynasty, full PPR, non-Superflex.
Yeah, I want Williams and Singletary.
Williams is the best asset in this deal, so I'll take him.
Yep,
I don't want any of those 5. I'll be
That's the correct answer. I mean, I'd like to find a way to get all of them off my rosters.
Kevin, can you tell me if he screwed himself on selling Lamar? He traded Lamar for Purdy, a first, 24 first and second, and a 25 first. I think you got compiled value, but I would take Lamar.
if you're like going full rebuild, tear it down to the studs, then I think that deal is fine. Because we talked about Purdy has upside right there. There is potential for him to hit and be, a routine top 20, top 18 quarterback, which is solid for Superflex. And then 2 firsts, a second. Like, that's what you have to get if you move Lamar. The 2 firsts is nice.
Yeah. You got to hit.
It's got to be in a rebuild.
I want Lamar.
So do
I think I think you got the value for it. I think you're
right.
Yeah. Does this change at all? He has Waddle, Debo, Pittman, and Ridley. So Williams is at best is 5. He says he has 10 running backs with just Akers and Miles Sanders. His RB3 is Khalil Herbert. Does that change your opinion at all for the Mike Williams trade?
No, because Mike Williams is going to be playing meaningful snaps. He's going to start meaningful weeks for you. So, no, I want Mike Williams.
That does change the answer to me. I am more comfortable now going A-Chain and Hyatt for just pure upside. But I don't think Justin's wrong necessarily either.
I also don't think I'm wrong, if that helps.
Dylan loves the content. Thank you, Dylan. 10-team, 2-quarterback PPR dynasty trying to age down with Stephon Diggs. What do you think of Diggs in a second for Higgins in a third?
Love it. I think that's fine. I don't think it's a crazy win, but you get a lot of years back.
Yes, you do. You get 5. A little over 5.
You get this many. No, that's good. I think that's solid.
Yeah. Yep. I would do that deal.
That's what you have to do. And it goes back to what Addison said earlier about having to pay up to get the better asset. You have to pay up.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, 12-team Superflex tiered PPR with a 0.75 tight end premium, 0.2 points per carry, start 11, give Mike Williams, again with the Mike Williams, and Alexander Madison, and get Jordan Addison. Is that a good move? Team is middle of the pack.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's fine.
Alexander Madison is massive upside this year and this year alone.
He is on a 1-year deal too, isn't he?
2-year.
2-year.
But it's small. And a lot of the guaranteed, I think, comes out this year too.
Yeah, so he's a cut candidate next year.
He gets an extra 0.2 points per carry.
God, that's crazy.
I'll take Jordan Addison. Just give me the solidified young rookie wide receiver who's also.
He's the only player in this deal that is basically guaranteed to gain value.
Yes. Jordan Addison. Spock, no PPR, 12 teams, Superflex, start 9. Oh yeah, I think this is the same roster as previously. Gave Deontay in a second for a first.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love it.
First. Because again, first is going to gain value. Deontay, not going to gain value.
People hate him.
People hate him.
If you guys watched our players that nobody wants, Deontay Johnson was going to be in it, but Addison told me no.
Because he's been in 15 of your other videos this offseason. People are tired of hearing about Deontay.
I can't stop talking about Deontay Johnson.
All right, last couple here. If you're super young, Jason, Addison, Pitts, London, etc., and likely mediocre or bad, do you move Bijan for max value now or hang tight and waste year 1? He has 7 firsts in 2024 and another 2 in 2025.
7 firsts. I don't think you have to move Bijan. I don't. And the reason is, again, we were talking about this earlier if you were on, and startups. The only 2 running backs I'm really willing to take in the first 3 rounds are Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs because their value is insulated. They are going to be around for a while. And I don't see Bijan getting moved off that RB1 pedestal next year. There's not a running back coming in that you have that's going to bump him off of that line. So I think it's fine. If anything, and he really does show out, he may not, obviously can't go higher than RB1, but his trade value can still increase. So I'm holding Bijan. I don't think it's dire. I don't think you have to move him.
Unless you get Jefferson or Chase.
Only 2 players.
Lamb could be iffy, but
I'm not moving him for Lamb.
Yeah, I'd probably just rather hold on to Bijan. And with your 7 first next year, you're going to draft a bunch more rookies that are
You
going to
have
have
a full
immediate
team.
impact.
You have a full roster.
Right. All you need basically is one of the receivers to hit, if not 2 of them, and ideally Pitts looks like he could be the guy that we want him to be. And with those 7 first, and you could draft over half of the rookies next year. Yeah, that's or take Bowers. That worked too. If you feel like you screwed yourself with some of the Lamar for what you did, I would try to get Kyler now for Purdy in the first. Oh, that's for the I would like that. I would do Purdy in a first for Kyler.
Yeah, assuming late first.
Ideas. Giddy up. What would you be targeting for Najee or Walker in terms of wide receivers for a team that should be moving for highly competitive next year?
I'm gonna pull up ADP, see where they're going.
Yeah, just to give a frame of reference for.
Yeah, before I just throw out some nonsense.
But Najee's right next to Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, Debo, Watson. Walker is right next to him too, because they're like RB 12 and 14 and 80.
Because they're all the same,
basically the same. So would you move Walker for Ridley or Watson?
I'd want to. I do it for Ridley. I do it straight up for Watson. Probably. I'd want like a second back with Ridley, just because there is a little bit of inherent risk,
and age,
and age of all of it. There's other factors there.
Can you go up to Devontae?
He just left with an injury, by the way, from camp. So
did he really?
Yeah, limped
how
off.
Bad? Like, is this like how Diggs left with an injury yesterday, but actually didn't matter?
I've been on the stream. I haven't had time to look at it.
But how did you see that he left with an injury?
He's slowly walking toward the locker room, favoring his right leg. That's it. That's all I got for you.
He's fine.
We're using the same app. We're using the Fantasy Life app.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is the best app of all time. It's better than Sleeper. So download Fantasy Life.
Yes. That notifications are crazy. They beat everything. Yep.
I still go after Devontae, but I don't think that changes.
I didn't read into it. I saw he left. I was like, oh shit. Would you go up to DK Metcalf?
Oh, I would love to.
If you could move like Walker and
a second.
I don't think that gets you there, but I think Walker in a second I would love to go up to DK Metcalf.
Walker in a second for London.
Oh, smash.
JSN.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just throwing out.
I'm looking at the same list as you. Yes, I would do all of them. Everybody you're thinking, I'm doing them.
James.
Yeah. Oh, especially he's competing now. Wouldn't even think about it.
I think it's probably better for you with these running backs to go up at the wide receiver position. Add something to them and go up rather than take them and try to get an equivalent or a trade down piece of the wide receiver. Unless, like, we both really love Christian Kirk. Like, if you can get Christian Kirk and a 25 first for Najee, wow, that'd be insane. Or Walker, either one of them.
Love that deal. That'd be a great deal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Those are really the only ways, though, that I would just trade down from either one of these to the wide receiver position. I'd be more likely to move up.
Yep, I'm with you.
Hopefully that helps Giddy up. Super chat here for the memes again, dude.
Back,
my guy. He's just fully funding the DLF YouTube channel now.
Everybody else be like here for the memes. This is our ideal watcher. Subscribe.
I love it. So he's on the clock right now, or about to be on the clock, I should say. The 2.08 is on the clock, 304 or Isaiah Hodgins. Wide receivers are falling. So currently on the clock, even though it's the 2.8, are Mims, Rice, Tank, Hyatt, Downs. So you could be potentially trading one of them, trading Hodgins for one of them.
I'd rather take a running back at 304. If all those wide receivers, if Downs is gone and like Rice, Mims, those are the three. If all three of them are gone, I'd rather just take a running back. I don't think Isaiah Hodgins should move the needle. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not giving up anything for Isaiah Hodgins.
Right. I would take the third. I would take the third just in general over Isaiah Hodgins, regardless of the fact of who I'm looking at is currently on the clock right now at 208. That Marvin Mims has fallen, that Rashee Rice has fallen. I would just take the third in general over Hodgins.
Yep.
And if you're able to get Chase Brown at the 304, oh my goodness. Or I don't think Mims or Rice are there. I don't think Downs is there either.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to take Hyatt. I'd take Hyatt over Hodgins.
I'd take Hyatt over Hodgins too. Yeah.
Age and upside.
But I'd probably just grab a running back over Hyatt.
Would you grab what other running backs are you trying to take there over Chase Brown?
Let me pull up our rookie.
Like, you're not taking Zach Evans there.
God, no.
I'm trying to think of Izzy.
I'm looking. I'm seeing who would be there.
Because like Evan Hull, I think Evan Hull should not be there, or should go later. I'm assuming that Tank should already be gone, and I'm assuming Tyjae Spears should also be gone.
Yeah, I'm looking through. I would take Dwayne McBride over him. I'm
over Hyatt?
Over Hodgins.
He has 308 as well, he says. So he could take a Jalen Hyatt at 3.04, and I'd assume that you would get Dwayne McBride still at 308.
McBride should be there at 308. Sean Tucker at 308?
I'm here for it.
Always here for it.
Always here for Sean Tucker.
I'll die on that hill. Yeah, I'm just looking through. It's
Roshan should already be gone. And you can clarify if any of these running backs
Roshan, Spears, Bigsby, all should be gone.
They should be gone. I'm assuming that they're gone, and because Mims and Rice are still there. Like, I don't know who else would be.
Yeah, they have to be
up there.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to take Hyatt there, I guess. Then, if the other names that we like are already going to be gone.
I know, because this is still the one quarterback league. If like Stroud is there, do you consider Stroud 304, even though he already just took Richardson and
he has Lawrence and he has Dak? No, I'm not taking Stroud.
I feel like that'd be the value, but I feel like that would just tell you that your league does not value quarterbacks.
Right, like you're not going to be able to do much. Would you take Luke Musgrave?
Oh,
callback.
I totally forgot about Luke Musgrave, dude, because
we did a whole segment on him.
Luke Musgrave. He said Stroud went 205, Spears is gone already, and Laporta just went 2.07.
Musgrave.
I'm assuming Mayer's gone as well too. I would love if you traded Isaiah Hodgins for Chase Brown. That would be immaculate.
Yeah. I think those are the pivots, but basically the answer is not Hodgins.
Right. Not Hodgins.
Michael Mayer, yeah, he said Mayer's there. All those guys.
Oh, take Mayer then too. If you're able to come away with that 3.04 with either Mims, Rice, Mayer,
Downs,
Chase Brown, Downs, then that's a win right there. I would still take Jalen Hyatt there. I'd probably still take Izzy and Musgrave.
Yep.
So there, bam. When this stream is done, if you want to comment on like the video after the fact, I can help figure out some stuff too for you for how the rest of your rookie draft goes. If you have more of an update on who's there at the board, who's there on the clock at 304 or 308.
In my startup, Tua got picked before me. He didn't even make it to the end of the third, Addison.
Wow.
We jinxed it, by the way.
That's all right. Oh, he's a Jets fan. Loves the Izzy shout out. There you go.
We were so high. I was very high on Abanikanda, and he was super raw, and it showed because he went to the 6th round. Wherever the hell he landed. That was a bummer.
Yeah, John wants to know as well. Comment what you have at the 304.
If we're all dedicated now.
Dude, John is invested just as much as we are. Dylan sent the offer of Diggs in a second for Higgins in a third, so hopefully you get that done.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And we're out of comments.
There we go.
So unless anybody has a buzzer beater of a comment to come in here, we're done. An hour and 40 minutes, dude. Bam. That's the longest Friday with Addison we've done yet.
There we go, man. There we go.
Love to see it. Love to see it. So thank you everybody for hopping on, hanging out with us over lunch.
I got one thing, Addison.
Yep, hit me with it.
If you guys enjoy these streams, if you enjoy any of the content on this channel, check out the DLF YouTube memberships. It's a bunch of videos. When we get into the season, it'll be at least one additional member video a week on top of everything else we put out. There's almost 30 videos in there now that you can go and binge if you join the memberships. There's a whole bunch of other tools that Addison is working on. So check out the DLF YouTube membership, guys. That's it.
Robert's going to end the show with the Bears and Packers tying for last in the NFC North.
Probably.
Kurt joined in. Kurt, what's up, my man?
Kurt's a member. Be like Kurt.
Yeah. Kurt, we were just about to end the stream, but then you joined, so we had to
Kurt, give us one question. You get a question, Kurt.
Go.
We'll sit in silence and wait.
Yeah. I feel like I'm watching like the Heat game. They just missed the 3-pointer, but they're about to kick it out to Bosch.
To Bosch. Talking about Ray Allen in the corner?
Yeah, but Bosch was
on the inbounds?
Wasn't Bosch kicking it out? Wasn't he the one who got the rebound?
No, wasn't Bosch?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Was it Bosch that hit that bounced that kicked it out? Who the hell was it?
Now we have to know. I pulled it up on YouTube.
I'm still pissed about that. I'm anti-LeBron, so I'm still bummed that he got his ass saved. This is good. This is exactly what they want. Do we like Devonta Smith or T. Higgins more? That is Kurt's question.
I'm still trying to find out. It was Bosch.
Damn it.
Yeah. Okay, wait, go ahead. Sorry.
Smith or Higgins? I don't know if it matters. I think I prefer Higgins. I go back and forth, but
I think I prefer Higgins because I feel like I trust the passing volume that Cincy will have year to year versus I think that Philly is in for more passing this year because they have a harder schedule. They won't need to be running out the clock on every single game because they're up by 2 touchdowns and they have a harder schedule now than they do this year. So they should be passing more. But I think Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts passing wise, like for his receivers. Yeah, I think the volume is going to be there more. So I will take T. Higgins over Smith.
I am Higgins right now, but you ask me again in a week, it could flip. Like I think they are legitimately back to back, and I think that's where they belong. Because I think anybody that has a strong opinion one way or the other is kind of just like too caught up in rankings, and you know what I mean? Like they're the same tier. I don't think it ultimately matters.
John says he wants Higgins because since he doesn't have a Goddard. That there's also that too.
They got Tyler Boyd. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, somebody to steal away 6, 7, 8 targets a game.
Right, like Boyd serves that exact same role that Dallas Goedert serves.
I can hear it in my head now. James puts up the 3, won't go. Bosch, rebound to Bosch, back out to Allen. Bang.
The Mike Breen bang haunts me.
Bang. I also just got a Fantasy Life notification that Devontae Adams' injury is minor.
There we go. Told you nothing to worry about.
Ago. Just got it.
Told you, Addison. Don't panic.
Last question. What are some good win now targets to trade for? Just got Connor, Mixon, Danny Dimes, and Waller.
David Montgomery, Amari Cooper.
I would not go after Alvin Kamara unless you get some mad discount like Kate Otten. But
agreed. I fully agree. Also, I'm going back to I did a win now trade target video, and I'm looking through my show notes to see where they are. I am so lost in win now trade targets. There we go. Nick Chubb, but that was before his ADP and value has skyrocketed. This is like back in April. Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley, also value has changed drastically since we put out that video. Keenan Allen is another one that Keenan Allen is so horribly disrespected right now, and like in redraft especially. That's how I know he's going to be disrespected in Dynasty. He has a chance to be a top 12 wide receiver again. So Keenan's a great one. You probably get 2 years out of him.
I'm not opposed to Tyler Lockett as well. I still feel like he's going to have good value this year.
I think JSN hurt.
JSN's probably going to eat in for sure. He watched the video already when it came out.
Michael Thomas is in that one, which is a very funny one. That
I highlighted Michael Thomas in a video a few months ago. So
yeah, Michael Thomas is wide receiver 76 in ADP. He's free. Go give a third for Michael Thomas.
OBJ. He could be fun. Tyler Higbee.
Higbee is a tight end.
Oh, John said Tyler Higbee. There you go.
Of course, John did. Yeah, Higbee is solid if you need just a volume-eating tight end.
Yeah. Did that help, Super Cooper? Some more options.
There's a whole bunch.
Cool. So, yeah. All right, now I think we're done.
That'll be it. I actually have to go do my real job.
That's stupid. I'm going to the Pirates game tonight, so I'm going to be leaving here pretty soon. So
even better, man. Enjoy it.
Hopefully they beat. I think it's the Reds. I think
fast track to last place, baby. Doing well.
Hey. I will never forget the April that we had. I will never forget.
That was great.
All right. But yeah, so we appreciate all you guys for joining us, for hanging out. We do this every single Friday around noon Eastern time. Yeah, so football tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. Next week's going to be even more football. This is going to be so much fun. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. And that's it.
See ya.
Bye.
Check out the YouTube memberships.